Hey, I'm Lucy. I'm an EMDR certified therapist and LPC in Portland, Oregon, who loves supporting folks in processing trauma through EMDR, creativity, and Oracle cards. And today I thought I would do something a little different where I am just going to go briefly into this work together, but from pulling a card because binding through imagery can be so powerful. So I'm going to just pull this one for the way I work. Mm, Destroyer. So a lot of folks that I work with have this sense of overwhelm, oh, this like black and kind of panicky feeling, and this sense of like at any time, anything can be, it can all be destroyed. Um, the other shoe's gonna drop, feeling so sensitive and feeling like this almost could like at any time just open, kind of that feeling of I can be okay, and then all of a sudden, totally in survival mode, totally intense. Um, and it can be really hard. And also, there can be experiences too from when we were younger that we can feel like shame around. And so being able to process that with imagery, with EMDR and creativity can really shift this. And it can go, I'm going to do another one. Okay, this is going to be a little different, but where it can shift to, I'm not going to look as much at the words because sometimes it's the imagery too. So it's you take what you want, but to roots, to me, these also look like roots. And there's kind of this way of like, instead of just pew, 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 it can move into like, oh, these are the roots. These are the areas that are actually, I'm still holding on. These are things that I've experienced in my life that I still feel like at any time I can just feel totally overwhelmed or lash out in a way that doesn't resonate because I'm used to be in survival mode and had to be so protective. There's also, I love this, it's just like this sparkly, glowy thing too. And so a lot of like clients I work with are so sensitive and deeply intuitive and want to connect with themselves, but maybe need some guidance. And so what I see so much is this light in them. And then over time, they see that light too, and they connect with their light more. But so then, kind of in processing, we are going to start exploring those roots and processing. And then after that, the tear. Yeah, there's a connection. So it starts with, like, I mean, looking at the start to this. So there's kind of a similar sense, but realizing like instead of just all of this, like, oh, so intense feelings, there's actually so much kind of like softer sadness potentially too underneath. And so being able to be with that too, there's still that same kind of this look right here. But there's something a little softer too. And this, like, oh, there's so much around like my young, sensitive self held so many other people's emotions and held so much for others and had to be okay when it didn't feel okay. And so, of course, had to have a guard up in some way. And so there's some of this like letting some go, and some of that charge shifting to maybe that lighter sense. And so being able to go from this to that, like finding the roots and then the tear. And then let's see the final part. So a lot of the time there are tears in processing in EMDR, but knowing that you are supported this whole time in the process by someone who's guided so many others in this process and who's also done EMDR myself. And this one is the creator. Oh, so this feels so much like you, although at first it's interesting, not all of them have this, so it is interesting that we keep kind of getting that. But there is this way, like from this to this, like this creativity, there's a softening, this realization, maybe connecting with, oh, like my life is not written by others. And once I've processed these things and these roots and this intense, like old beliefs about self and what was stored at the time in trauma, I can actually create kind of a new sense in self um and maybe there is that softening in color and this feeling of I'm not yeah, I have some control and things can be different while also being protected in some way, feeling some kind of that grounding. And so let's see, moving from this to this, destroyer to creator, a lot of the time yeah, that shift and even like those difference in this part, being able to then shift into like there is that protection, there is this trust in self, there is this trust in my own expression. I can express even when in the past maybe I said yes when I wanted to say no. I felt like I couldn't express, I didn't have a voice, to moving into all of this and also this like world getting bigger, this feeling of there's yeah, of course there's going to still be shadow and intensity at times, but also there's so much kind of around that too that can also be colorful or changing, so it's a little bit of the work together, and I would love to connect with you if it resonates, where we get to explore through imagery and creativity and EMDR, and we can have a very low stakes consultation, just explore this work together, no pressure ever. But it can be lovely to just get a sense of our energy together and then see what it's like to work in person. I offer EMDR sessions, and then I also offer EMDR intensives. And when you start from, let's say, like this part, and then moving through all of that, through finding this and finding like the roots and also that sensitivity, holding all of these, imagining doing that more where you have like your regular um 3 days a week where you're seeing me for a shorter amount of time, just concentrated where we can give space for all of this, and also where you don't feel like you have so much in between to catch me up on or check in about, where you know you're held in all of these, where whatever we process one day, we get to hold space for the next day and make sure that things are feeling okay. And it makes it so you can get deeper, and you can feel okay getting deeper and getting to the root faster and getting to kind of more of that, like that connection with emotions and also connect with this creativity. So if that sounds good to you, feel free to reach out and I would love to connect.